On New Year's Day, my husband died. At least, that's what the hospital told me. 30 minutes earlier, he had smiled, grabbed his keys, and said he was heading out to buy coconut water. The kind you get from a juice bar because it feels like a promise, a clean start. He was always good at small things like that, little gestures that made me believe I was lucky. A husband who listened, a man who moved fast for me, a marriage that looked perfect from the outside. Then he never came back. Half an hour later, my phone rang. "Ma'am, this is Mercy General. Your husband, Ethan Carter, suffered a sudden cardiac event. Resuscitation was unsuccessful. We need you to come in and complete the necessary paperwork." The words didn't land all at once. They hit like hailstones, sharp, relentless, impossible to hold, and by the time I reached the hospital, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely sign in at the front desk. That was when Diane Carter appeared. My mother-in-law didn't cry. She didn't hug me. She didn't ask if I was okay. She slapped me, once, then twice. "Witch," she hissed, her face inches from mine. "You ruined my son. You ruined this family." I stumbled back, stunned, my ears ringing. A nurse tried to intervene, but Diane snapped at her like she owned the place. She always had that kind of entitlement, the confidence of someone who had never faced consequences. Someone pressed a cup of water into my hands. "Drink," Diane ordered. "You're going to faint." Something about it felt wrong, too urgent, too insistent, too rehearsed. My grief hadn't even fully formed, but my instinct screamed, "Don't." I set the cup down. "I want to see him," I said. Diane's eyes flashed, and for the first time I saw it not grief but fear. "You can't," she snapped. They already moved him." "I want to see my husband," I repeated louder. A young doctor stepped into the doorway, immaculate hair, spotless white coat, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Mrs. Carter?" she asked. "I'm Dr. Vivian Hayes. I'm very sorry for your loss." Diane softened immediately too quickly. "Dr. Hayes has been a family friend for years," she said, as if that explained everything. Family friend. The doctor handed me a death certificate. Everything looked official: hospital letterhead, signatures, stamps, but my eyes went straight to the time of death. Too neat, too convenient. And when I looked up, Dr. Hayes wouldn't hold my gaze. In the hallway, a man in a suit approached with two others behind him. They didn't look like hospital staff. They looked like the kind of men you meet when something's about to be taken from you. "Are you Lily Vega?" the man asked. I blinked. "Yes, who are you?" "Ethan Carter owes our client $1 million, due immediately." The hallway tilted. "That's impossible," I said. He never told me anything about." The man opened a folder and slid forward paperwork with my name on it. My signature. Or something close enough to pass for it. "This loan is tied to a business line," Ethan opened. "The guarantor is the spouse." "That's you." My mouth went dry. "I didn't sign this." He smiled politely. "Oh, you did. Or at least, your name did." Diane let out a wail behind me, too dramatic, too late, then leaned toward the men and said, "She pay." Ethan left everything to her. She's responsible now. Everything. It was a trap, unfolding right on schedule. And then something inside me went cold. Not grief. Not shock. Recognition, because I had lived this before. I lived the years that came after 15 years of working 2 jobs, then 3 sleeping. In my car some nights, selling my jewelry, my furniture, my youth. I lived the humiliation of collectors calling me at work, the panic attacks when rent was due, the shame of watching people I trusted look at me like I was stupid for staying. I lived long enough to pay off a debt that was never mine. And when I finally crawled out, when I moved into a quiet neighborhood where nobody knew my name, where I could breathe again, I saw him. Ethan. Alive. Stepping out of a black SUV in a tailored coat, his arm around a woman with glossy hair and a perfect smile. A little boy jumped from the back seat, laughing. A family. Their family. I walked into the street like a sleepwalker, my throat closing. "Ethan," I choked out. "What is this?" He looked me in the eyes I used to trust, and smiled like I was a stranger. Then he shoved me. Hard. I hit the pavement, pain flaring white-hot through my ribs. He leaned it down just enough for me to hear him over the hum of the engine. "You're still here?" he said, almost amused. "Lily, you're unbelievable." His voice lowered, calm and cruel. "I didn't want to split assets. I didn't want a divorce. So I disappeared. You were useful. Useful." He straightened, brushing his hands as if touching me had dirtied him. "I knew you'd pay it," he said. "You're the kind of woman who thinks guilt is love. Thanks for buying us the life we wanted." My chest seized. The world went dark. And then I woke up. My phone was ringing. "Ma'am? This is Mercy General. Your husband, Ethan Carter, suffered a sudden cardiac event." I stared at the screen like it was a mirror. The date at the top of my calendar burned bright and unforgiving. January 29th, 2025. New Year's Day. My breath came in slow, a laugh thin. An unfamiliar slipped out of my throat, not because anything was funny, but because this time I wasn't walking into the trap blind. This time I remembered everything. And this time I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to plead. I was going to build a case. I drove to the hospital, but I didn't rush to the desk. I took photos of every sign, every name, every badge, every door. I turned on my voice recorder before I even walked in. Inside, Diane was already there, pacing like an actress waiting for her cue. When she saw me, she raised her hand. I stepped back calm, her palm cut through air. A nurse noticed. "Ma'am," the nurse warned. Diane's face tightened. She forced her hand down and smiled like a saint. "There you are," she said sweetly. "Drink some water. You look pale." She pushed the cup toward me. I took it and quietly poured it into a specimen container on a nearby tray. Diane froze. "What are you doing?" "I'm grieving," I said, letting my voice shake on purpose. "I'm not thinking clearly." She exhaled, relieved, believing she was watching me unravel. Then Dr. Vivian Hayes appeared exactly on time. "Mrs. Carter." "Doctor," I interrupted softly. "I want a second confirmation." Another attending physician. Full chart, full timeline. Her smile wavered. "That's not necessary." "It is," I said. "Because if the cause of death is legitimate, scrutiny won't matter." Diane grabbed my arm. "You are not ruining this," she hissed. I looked at her hand on me, then let my eyes fill with tears. Loud enough for the hallway to hear, I said, "Please don't touch me." Heads turned. A security guard glanced over. Diane released me like she'd been burned. Good. Let them see her. Let them notice. Then the suited men arrived, the debt collectors right on schedule. This time I didn't panic. I smiled. "I'm so glad you're here," I said, holding up my phone. "Please repeat what you just told me. Slowly. Clearly. My attorney is listening." Their confidence cracked. Diane's face went gray. Dr. Hayes took one instinctive step backward. "Innocent people don't flinch like that." "My husband is dead," I said, "and someone forged my name." I looked straight at the doctor. "You will preserve every record, every security camera, every digital signature, every medication log, every phone call." Then I turned to Diane. "And you're going to stop lying. Because the next call I make won't be to a nurse." I lifted my phone. "It'll be the police." Diane's mouth opened. No sound came out. "Mrs. Carter, you're emotional," Dr. Hayes began. "Oh, I'm emotional," I agreed softly. "But I'm not confused." I sealed the specimen container, the water she insisted I drink into an evidence bag from my purse. Diane stared at it like it was a weapon. I took a slow breath. Because this time, I wasn't going to survive the story. This time I was going to end it.